Welcome to the Visualize Meditations podcast, hosted by your friend Sasha Patil, a Chopra certified meditation teacher. The first step to creating the life of your dreams is to create a clear and compelling vision for what you want for the future. I'll be guiding you on visualization meditation so you can get clear on your deepest desires. Let's get started so you can turn your vision into a reality. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. It's your gal pal Sasha, and I'm here, and to paint the scene for you, I am still in sunny San Diego. I feel like I keep saying that, but it's true because I've been here for 2 months now, officially 2 months, and I'm leaving in a couple of weeks for my next destination, and officially I will be in San Diego for the same amount of time that I was in Paris. I was in Paris for 2.5 months, and I will be in San Diego for about 2.5 months as well. So I'm really loving it here. I love California. The weather is really good for my mental health. It's absolutely gorgeous today, and it's mid-March, and I'm so into it. So today we're going to get into something I've been sitting on, and then also like a little story time situation. At least for me, what I found in my life, there are two key components that if I accomplish them in every single day, I know that I've had a good day. So a lot of times I find that right now we are obsessed with hustle. We are obsessed with hustle. We are obsessed with goal achievement, with going towards the goals, with going towards growing your career, growing your finances, just like going towards the next thing. And I feel like a lot of times when we get there, we get to that goal that we set for ourselves and we're like, oh yeah, amazing. We celebrate for 2 seconds and then you're on to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. And it never really ends and you never take any real time to sit and appreciate it. So we kind of get stuck in this hustle culture without also being able to enjoy our lives at the same time. And for me, it's really important to make sure I schedule in time for pleasure and rest and joy, and almost schedule in my time for pleasure, rest, and joy in the same way that I schedule in my time for going towards my goals and work and achievement. So it's kind of this balance between what Tony Robbins calls the science of achievement versus the art of fulfillment, because one without the other is a really unbalanced and unsustainable life, honestly. So science of achievement is like, how do you get your goals? How do you go towards the next thing? How do you achieve success? And then art of fulfillment is, are you happy? Are you enjoying your life? Are you taking pleasure in your life outside of work and achievement? Yeah, you're going towards your goals and you're going towards the things that you think are going to make you better, but are you also enjoying your life at the same time? And the two things that I find I need to do every single day in order to know that I had a good day is, number one, did I do something that made me 1% better? Did I do something that pushed me 1% further towards my goals? Did I do something that helped me step into the best version of myself? Did I do something today that I'm going to be proud of tomorrow? Is there anything I'm doing in my life that's progressing me towards my goals? And it doesn't matter if it's my career goals, my financial goals, or just goals in any other area of life, my health, my friends. I like to do things that progress multiple areas of my life every single day. Like, I know I'm going to work on my career every single day. That's just a given for me. But for me, also, like, my health, am I working out? Am I moving? Am I eating clean? Am I doing something to progress towards my goals? For my friendship and family goals, am I reaching out to a loved one every day? Doesn't matter if it's just a quick text or a quick voice message being like, hey, I'm thinking about you. Am I deepening my relationships with them? Or for my spirituality, am I meditating? Anything at all that will take at least one step towards the person that I want to be. Am I doing something in that realm? So that's the first thing I need to do every day. And the second thing I need to do every day is do something just for fun. Do something just for pleasure. Do something just because it makes me smile. Do something just because I enjoy it, for no other reason other than just my pleasure. So if that looks like a walk outside, or it could be connecting with a loved one, or maybe it's watching my favorite podcast or my favorite TV show for 1 hour in the evening, or maybe it's listening to music that really brings me a lot of joy. Anything that brings me joy, I want to do. And I want to prioritize that. And I think both things are just as important as the other. Because if I have a life where I'm taking all pleasure and all joy and no work, then I'm a lazy piece of shit and I'm not doing anything. And then I end up feeling worse about myself because I'm like, I'm not going towards the goals. I'm not going towards the thing that is making me a better person. But then if I do all hustle with no joy and no pleasure, then I sit there and I'm like, why am I miserable? Why am I miserable? Why do I feel so stressed out? Why do I feel so overwhelmed with my to-do list? If I'm not doing both things, both something going towards my goals and something that's prioritizing my pleasure, if I don't do both things every single day, it's just not a sustainable life for me. So it's something that I've found that is really helpful for me is like, okay, if I do two things, I know I had a good day. Like, I don't need to do the entire to-do list. I don't need to spend the entire day off. As long as I do something to prioritize becoming 1% better every day and prioritize my pleasure and my fun, then it's a good day overall. The question I'm asking myself is, how can my actions today make tomorrow's version of me proud? Am I proud of who I was yesterday? Yes or no? Maybe in some areas, yes, maybe some areas, no. For the ones that are no, okay, well, today, how can I take actions that'll make tomorrow's version of me proud? And if that looks like taking care of yourself and having fun, great. And if that looks like putting in the work and the hustle, great. And for me, ideally, it's both. I want both in every single day. I will say I want to make sure I take one day completely off, at least some career stuff, and like give my brain a break. But also, if I'm taking one day completely off of career, maybe I'm pursuing other areas of my life, like my health or my relationships, that I'm also working on getting 1% better in those areas as well. So it's something I'm sitting on, something I'm thinking on, but overall, get those two things done every day, and we're living a life worth living, basically. Okay, let's get into personal story time. Being in San Diego really reminds me of a friendship breakup that I still do not understand. And being here in this city makes me think about this person a lot because this person is from San Diego. We talk about friendships a lot on this podcast. I think friendships are probably one of the most fulfilling areas of my life, and it has been for a majority of my life, if not pretty much every year. My friendships have just been the most fulfilling thing in my life. And we talk about how to make friends and how to find friends and how to keep friendships and how to maintain friendships. But something that I haven't talked about, at least, or something that I haven't seen talked about a lot online, is friendship breakups. And they are so real. There are studies shown that every 7 years, half of your friend group and half of the people in your inner circle are swapped out. So you'll typically go through friendship breakups at least once every 7 years, which typically also happens with romantic relationships as well. There's like the whole 7-year itch thing, and the whole every cell in your body changes all the time, but every 7 years you're cellularly a completely different person. So naturally you're going to have different tendencies, different things that you're doing, different things that you prioritize, and naturally you're not always going to vibe with the people around you. But there is still one friendship breakup that I still don't understand and I am still trying to make sense of. And that's what we're going to chat about today. I have had my fair share of friendship breakups. Each one of them deserve their own podcast episode, and I might do a podcast episode on each one because they're all their own unique individual story, and I learned so much from each of my friendship breakups, and each of my friendship breakups were so different based on the situation of why we stopped being friends or how we ended up having the friendship breakup. I'd say there are different types of friendship breakups. I'd say there are overall, unless you've had a different type, and if you've had a different type of friendship breakup, let me know, because I'd love to hear the story around that. There are 4 different types of friendship breakups. Number 1 is the natural one. You drift apart. You just slowly stop talking. You just are hanging out in different circles. Maybe you don't see each other as much. Maybe your relationship was really situational, and then, over time you're not seeing each other in that situation anymore, so you just naturally stop talking, and like people just drift apart, right? So natural, and that's something that's so normal. I feel like this is the one that we see the most often because it happens and we don't even realize it's happening because we're getting so caught up in our life that we don't realize, like, oh my god, I haven't talked to this friend in like 2 years. What? There's the blow up, which something dramatic happens, everyone has a fight, and then you're like, done, don't want to be friends with this person anymore. Huge blow up, huge fight. There's no reason to just try to reconcile the friendship. There's no reason to continue on a friendship. Like, we've had a fight and it's done. And the third one, that I'd say is the clean conversation. Maybe this is after the blow up. Like maybe this is later down the line. I love a clean conversation where you sit down and you actually have a real conversation about this is what happened here. This is where I stand. This is where you stand. These are our different perspectives. And we don't really want to be friends anymore, but I'm really glad we sat down and had a closure conversation around that. So it's kind of like having a closure conversation like you would for a breakup, but for a friendship breakup. I've had my fair share of those too. And honestly, I feel like this is the healthiest way to end a friendship, either this or drift apart. Like drift apart is just so natural that it's like no big deal, but to have a really clean conversation I think is the most amazing thing. And I've had a handful of these as well, and I love having these conversations. I like having the closure. I like being able to sit down and talk about what happened, what went wrong, the difference in the values, the difference in the expectations for the friendship. I think overall it's a really great thing to do. And the fourth and final friendship breakup type is the ghosting, where someone just disappears. You've tried to reach out and no response ever. There is one friendship breakup that I still do not understand, and I am still trying to wrap my head around at this point. So if any of you have listened to the Coachella episode where it's called Hookups and Breakups at Coachella, I tell the story about when I was 19 years old and Lady Gaga joined the Coachella lineup, and I decided to quit my job and I went to Coachella by myself. And when I was there, I went into the festival by myself, and I ended up meeting some people, and I ended up meeting Coachella Boy and hooking up with him and cheating on my high school sweetheart with this guy and yada yada. If you want to hear more about that, go listen to the Coachella episode because that is a whole story in itself. And there are stories that like link to this most recent Coachella last year, but I'm not going to get into that today. I met Coachella Boy, the guy I hooked up with at Coachella, obviously. And I mentioned it in that episode, but I also met his friend, and we're going to call him Dimples. So I met Dimples also at the same time I met Coachella Boy. And Dimples and I hit it off immediately. We were linking arms. We were helping each other through the crowd. Just like the sweetest person I've ever met. The kindest person I've ever met. Just good energy, good vibes, so loving, so caring. And we ended up building a friendship in that weekend. And I ended up chatting with him and Coachella Boy every single day after that. So both Coachella Boy and Dimples are from San Diego. And I had to come back to San Diego over the summer, a couple months later, for an event. And I decided to change my flight. I came in early, and I've been talking to both of them every day via Snapchat, via text, like just calling. I've just been really close with these two people. Naturally, my relationship with Coachella Boy was a little bit different because we had a little fling situation at Coachella. So it's like naturally a different conversation than me and Dimples, who are just friends, super platonic, whatever. So I come to San Diego and I hang out with Coachella Boy and Dimples for basically a super long weekend, like 4 or 5 days maybe. And we had the best time. We explored around San Diego. We went to parties. We did like hikes. We saw sunsets. We ate food. We just had the best time. They showed me around the city. Like we just had the absolute best time. I loved hanging out with them. It was incredible. I saw them again after my event. Dimples and I also ended up going to visit Coachella Boy out in Berkeley, outside of SF, and we developed our friendship even further. We got way closer. Our friendship got deeper during that time because we were together for 5 days straight, and it was awesome. So things ended with Coachella Boy after like 6 months or something, but Dimples and I continued to maintain a friendship. We still continued to talk and be pals, and everything was really normal. The next year, I ended up camping at Coachella with Dimples and his friends that I also knew at that point because I'd been around in the friend group for a little bit. So I showed up, picked me up from the airport. We were hanging out before Coachella. I stayed at Dimples' house. We drove there together. We were together the entire festival and had the best time together. Incredible, like just so much fun. And we got closer. And also, the next year or 6 months later, Dimples came to visit me in New York. So he flew in, he helped me move into my new apartment in New York. He'd only been to New York like once or two times before, so we went and explored New York. We had amazing nights out. We went ice skating. We moved into my apartment. We just had an absolute ball. And we still maintained closeness. My ex and I also ended up going out to San Diego another time to go visit Dimples and to explore around San Diego. My ex had never been to San Diego before, so we ended up just like hiking, exploring town, hitting beaches, and again, developed my friendship even deeper with Dimples. My ex and I ended up staying with Dimples and his family, and we just had a great time overall and really continued to deepen our friendship. I ended up moving to Miami. We still maintained our friendship, and he was supposed to come visit me. He ended up not being able to come visit me because of a medical reason. I was like trying to reach out to him, text him, and the responses just slowly stopped. And I was like, okay. And he sent me a GIF on Christmas, and it was like a GIF of like an episode of Friends. And I texted him back, no response. I texted him and called him, not every day, but every once in a while. Every time he would come to mind, I would text him and call him. And I'd be like, hey, like thinking about you. How are you doing? Send him a voice message. No answer. Sent him text. No answers. Called him. No answers. I actually ended up reaching out to Coachella Boy and asking like, hey, is Dimples okay? Because I haven't heard from him. He hasn't responded to any of my calls, texts, voice messages, anything in months. I'm concerned at this point that something happened to him. Like, is he okay? Like, what happened? And Coachella Boy said, yeah, I haven't heard anything to the contrary. Like, I hear he's fine. And they're childhood best friends. So if something happened to Dimples, Coachella Boy would have known. So it was a year of me trying to call him, to text him, voice message him, nothing. No response. Crickets. Nothing happened. No response ever. And on Christmas, a year later from the last time I heard from him, I sent him a message and I was like, listen, it's been a year since I've heard from you. Just know that I love you and I miss you so much. And this friendship is always open to you. And you are welcome to talk to me whenever. Like, I'm not going to hold it against you that you haven't been replying for literally over a year at this point. You know, I don't know what happened, but I'm here for you. I miss you. I love you. And my arms are wide open whenever you're ready to come back. That was 2.5 years ago at this point. I still have not heard from Dimples. I see occasionally he might check out my shit on social media, but I haven't heard a single word from him since. And I'm still trying to understand what happened. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what possibly could have changed or happened that he just stopped responding and stopped picking up a phone or replied to messages. And listen, like, life is lifing, right? As adults, we get so busy with our day-to-day lives. We get really caught up. We get overwhelmed with what's in front of us and our relationships that are right in front of us. So maybe it's just that, but I can't imagine that happening and then for years later, like literally no response, no answer, nothing. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around what could have happened. I think for me, it was a really valuable lesson in just knowing how and when to let go. Like, sometimes friendships and relationships are not going to work the way that you wanted them to work. Sometimes, even if you're trying and trying and trying, if someone is not going to give you that mutual effort and respect, it's just time to let it go and release it. And it's something I've been going through with another friendship breakup I'm going through right now, where feel like I've been holding onto this rope that's attached to a pickup truck, and this pickup truck is dragging me through the mud. And at one point, I'm like, why the fuck am I still holding on being dragged through the mud? I'm wearing some gorgeous white clothes. So I just gotta let go of the rope. And this is a different friendship breakup. Obviously, for this friendship breakup, it was complete ghosting. And I don't know what happened and I don't know why. And I can't imagine that I'm ever going to learn why. But it's really taught me a lesson in letting go. And it's really taught me a lesson in sometimes you're just not going to have the answers. Sometimes you're just not going to know what the fuck happened. Sometimes there's a whole story behind what's going on that you just are not aware of. And you're not going to know the answer for it. And that's okay. It's okay to not do that. And it's taught me a lesson in just learning how to give love and send love whenever I think about him and whenever he's on my mind. And I'm in San Diego, I'm in his hometown. I think about him all the time. I see him in the city and the city reminds me of him. So I think about him all the time and I send him love all the time. And it's just a lesson in learning how to accept and how to let go and how to prioritize the relationships that prioritize you. I've had a lot of friendship breakups in my life. This is just one of them that I'm trying to wrap my head around. And this was not, I've had some far, far more dramatic friendship breakups that I can totally get into in a different episode. And maybe I'll do one friendship breakup per episode because some of them are so insane and so wild. Dimples, if you're listening, just know I miss you and I love you, and that's that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little solo session, this episode. And I want to hear all about your friendship breakups too. Have you had one that you haven't been able to wrap your head around? Have you had one that really stuck with you? Is there one that you regret? What are your experiences with friendship breakups? So, y'all, that's it for this week's episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. If you guys have any requests or anything you want to hear about or any questions, let me know. I would love to sit and chat with you guys. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys next week on the Visualize Meditations podcast. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. Please follow, subscribe, leave a review, all of the good things. If you want to connect more, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Visualize Meditations. So what are you waiting for? Get out there, create the life of your dreams, and we will see you next week.